Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm talking about going into monk mode for the next 12 months. So basically what I personally mean by monk mode is not to ignore people in your life, become a hermit, basically a recluse or anything like that, because as human beings, we are social creatures. We do need to be around other people for our own mental health. But what I do mean is that you may want to cut back on a few things that may be detrimental to your goals. Like, for example, if you've got like health goals, then perhaps you need to cut back on going to so many parties or hanging around with certain people that perhaps are a bad influence on you. Maybe peer pressure you into doing things that you know are going to be going against what you're trying to achieve. So that's what I personally mean by monk mode, prioritizing your goals instead of pleasure-seeking activities, things that are going to make you weaker instead of stronger, okay? And I talk about that Viktor Frankl quote all the time, which is, when a man can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. You don't want to be using this year as a way to distract yourself from your life. You want to dive into life. Dive into your goals, start tackling those goals, start developing some sort of project, whatever it may be, that is meaningful to you, so you're not distracting yourself with pleasure, such as too many video games, watching too much Netflix, eating too much junk food, things like that. Right? Instead of numbing the pain of your life by doing these things, doing these pleasure-seeking activities, do activities that are encouraging for you, that are actually going to help you reach your goals. So one of the ways that you can do this, one of the ways that you can use these next 12 months is to fill in your knowledge gaps on important subjects to you. So filling in your knowledge gaps could be reading books, it could be listening to podcasts, it could be listening to audiobooks, watching lectures, things like that. So what are the things that you really need to know more about? What are the things that are important to you that you feel like you may need more help with? So for example, if you have a website and you are trying to gain attraction for that, then maybe you need to watch and listen to a few podcasts on that sort of thing, or get a few books on that sort of thing. Or maybe just watching a few tutorials that may help you. Perhaps you're trying to attract love this year, so you get yourself some dating books or books on relationships so you can have a healthy relationship, right? So fill in your knowledge gaps on these really important areas for you, so you can become a bit more well-rounded. And it can be a very humble thing to do, to admit that you have gaps in your knowledge in places, you have some blind spots that you need to look at. But if you do that and you're humble enough to actually say, you know what, actually I don't know this area well enough, I do need to fill in my knowledge gaps on this certain subject, and you actually do that and you take action on it, and you start listening to the audiobooks, the podcasts, or watching the videos, watching the lectures, that's really going to help you become more confident in those areas, because that's what that sort of thing does. Sometimes we need to work on the things that we're insecure about, work on the things that we're not good at. So when we do get good at those things, we start to become more confident human beings. So another thing though, is that you don't just want to sit there and learn, you want to become a practitioner as well. You want to basically use the knowledge that you discover and take action on it, right? So don't just sit there and just read or listen and things like that, because that's only going to do so much. It helps, but you got to actually see if it actually works for you, right? So something that I have recently discovered is that taking action is the best way to make your dreams come true. Meditation is good, visualization is good, trying to tap into the law of attraction, that kind of thing is good. But the best thing that works is work, okay? The work, the actual physical activity of getting things done, right? That's the thing that is going to help you the most, okay? And that's what's really going to make this year significant for you, okay? You can learn all you want, but if you're not taking action and you're not using that knowledge, then you're not even going to know if it works or not, okay? So you got to find, don't just take basically what you learn from me or from anyone else as truth, right? Find out for yourself, work on it, right? If I say something to you, like let's say action is the best thing, And I feel like that is better than doing meditation. I feel like taking action is better than tapping into the law of attraction. Find out if that's true for you, because it may not be, right? It may not be. So don't just take what I say or anyone else at face value. Make sure that you're actually practicing and figuring out if what you're hearing or what you're watching or what you're reading is true by using it, okay? And finding out for yourself. So use what you learn, become a practitioner. That's really going to help you really get into this monk mode in 2023 for the next 12 months, basically, and help you achieve your goals, whatever they may be. So another thing that can help is to create an easy daily routine that you can stick to, right? And the important part of that is something you can stick to, because a lot of the time, sometimes we get these big audacious goals, which are actually really motivational, because having a big goal, really motivates you, really excites you, as opposed to having a small goal, right? Which kind of like, for example, I want to lose 4 pounds this month, right? That is, is a nice goal to have, but it's not very exciting. Whereas, I'm going to lose 3 stone this year might be something that's more exciting, more compelling. Or I'm going to have a 6-pack by the end of the year. That's something that's a bit more big, a bit more audacious, a bit more exciting. However, you want to be not doing too much too soon, especially if you've never been consistent with this kind of stuff in the past, right? So a lot of the time when people get to New Year's, they make these New Year's resolutions and they're making these big grand goals and all these big to-do lists on what they got to do, like, I'm going to exercise for an hour a day. Now that may be well and good if you've been able to do that kind of thing in the past, but if you've never been able to stick to an exercise for 1 hour a day schedule for a whole year before, and you're not consistent with that, then it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to stick to that goal because it's too big, basically. So that's why it's important that you find an easy daily routine that you can stick to, okay? Make it simple, simplify, right? Don't try and make it too big and too grand, where you're spending, like, for example, another example might be, I'm going to spend 3 hours a day studying, right? Can you keep up with that? You might very well be able to do that, but I know a lot of people that may come across this video may not be able to do that. Instead, maybe they just do it in small chunks, right? Think of the elephant, right? How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Create a schedule that you can easily stick to, okay? And obviously you don't want it to be so easy that you're spending half of the day doing nothing, right? And it's easy for you. You want to also be able to just have it a little bit so it stretches you past your comfort zone, just adding a little bit more difficulty to it. Okay, so it might be exercising for an extra 10 minutes, or it could be writing an extra article for your blog, or creating 2 more social media posts or something like that. Just something else that can just help you stretch past your comfort zone. But of course, these things also have to be in alignment with your personal goals that you're trying to achieve this year. Okay, so a good question to ask yourself, and I ask my clients this all the time. I ask people. I talk about this on videos all the time as well, especially on my dating and relationship channel. Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? So really think about that. Okay, so don't just think about this year. Where would you like to be in 5 years' time? What kind of house would you like to have? What kind of income do you want to have? How much do you want to be earning a year? Things like that. What would I like my body to look like? Okay, and start working towards that every single day. Where would you like to be in 5 years' time if everything could be perfect? And what's important to know here is that it doesn't matter if you make these goals for 5 years' time and you don't reach them. It doesn't matter. Because as long as you've been working towards them, you're still way better off than everyone else who hasn't worked towards their goals. You're still way better off than if you hadn't, even tried. So you may achieve some of those goals and you may not. You may achieve all of those goals or you may not. Okay? But it doesn't matter. It's all about the person that you will have to become in order to achieve those things that are going to be really, really important, that are really going to actually change your life in a really significant way. Okay, so get on with your work. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do this. Okay, make it simple first, and then maybe you can make it a bit more complicated later on down the road. But at the moment, stick to a very easy routine that you know you can do, that you know you can follow through. Because when you start, basically ticking off your to-do list every single day, you're going to start to feel more confident in yourself and more competent. And that will really push you through. Because one of the best things that can push you through is knowing that you are confident and feeling confident and knowing that you can do whatever it is that you know you need to do. Because sometimes just knowing that you have the power to actually finish your goals every single day, to finish your little daily goals, to finish off that to-do list, and putting in the self-discipline is going to really push you forward. And knowing that you have the self-discipline and having that self-discipline is really going to help with your goals this year and any goals that you have for 5 years' time as well. Okay, it helps you believe in yourself if you can stick to that routine and be self-disciplined. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.